Good afternoon, Paul M6RSQ here. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a video on APRS. Not 100% sure if you can actually see, but on the computer screen in front of me, it has a couple of stickers stuck on here, which is to do with the free radio network that I used to use, but I haven't in a while since I got my amateur ticket. We'll talk about that another time. It's an APRS window with the beacon as transmitted from the rig in the car. Just basically says the comment, my e-message, which I always have set to off duty. That's just how I have it. Location, which has the locator IO9040J, which is the last position it got, which would be just down in the car park actually, and distance from certain locations such as Catterick Garrison, Catterick Village, Leeds, Liverpool, and the last position as the local time, where the last position was 13:43:59 BST, which is about 10 minutes or so ago. Altitude, course, speed, radio, or device in this case, but it will be radio, and the last pass the signal took, which was into iGate MV7 USD, which is in Richmond. I don't really know where it is, but I know it's somewhere in Richmond, and I know who runs it as he's a fellow APRS user and also fellow System Fusion user. So basically it's also things that heard me directly, which M1SDE, that's Andy, he runs MB7 USD, which also heard it, G7's OCK, MB7VU and MB7 UVU. Those are all the stations that heard me directly on radio from the car. So how do you get the packet onto there? Radio transmits to an iGate or digipeater, which would then obviously forward it onto the internet. Then it appears onto here, which is APRS.fi. You just type that into your browser, search for a call sign. You can put the SSID on the end, or just use wildcards if you don't know what it is. For me, the car will be M6RSQ-9. 9 is usually used for mobile devices. So, what my plan is to do is to create basically APRS beacon sort of device out of my Baofeng UV-5R, because it's nice and cheap and I don't mind if I break it because I'm just buying another one. And another piece of hardware I have lying around, which I'll come to momentarily. My plan is to modify an old speaker mic that's really not fit for purpose. I've took it apart already, as you can see on the desk, various bits and pieces, and it has the correct connector for the Baofeng, which is this one here, it's 2-pin Kenwood. So that's the speaker mic with the lid removed. You can see in there's the speaker, some wires, microphones at the top somewhere, which looked as though it was held in with glue, but not very well because it's come off. And also there is a capacitor that's kind of necessary to stop the thing from being keyed up all the time. So I shall go get the two parts I want to connect together. Right, I've got the devices I want to connect. Now this is quite a crude setup because we've got this phone's just starting to boot up, so it'll do all sorts. This is my old Samsung Galaxy S4 with no SIM card or any data connectivity whatsoever, because I've turned it all off and I put the sound on mute, because realistically you don't want to transmit audio on the APRS frequency, which in the UK is, and pretty much all of Europe is, 144.800 megahertz. You don't want to be transmitting anything on there. Oop, something buzzed. That's probably just me. This is the radio in question. The battery doesn't stay on it anymore, which is a bit of a pain. Baofeng UV-5R. Currently in memory mode. All I have to do, put it into frequency mode and key in 144.800. Right, that's the APRS frequency. It should, with a bit of luck, start receiving packets. There we go. Like that. So that's receiving just fine, which is what I want it to do. The idea is I connect that and that together, which is why I'm dismembering the speaker mic. I'm going to set about assembling that because I'm not videoing myself doing that, because to be honest it's going to get quite fiddly, and I shall return very soon. But before I go, I've got a rummage in my pockets, because the connector you need, realistically, if you want to just quickly do this yourself, I mean, I don't advise doing this for a permanent thing. TNC would be better for if you want to do it permanently. This is just temporary until such times I can get one. You grab one of these. This is a Maplin one. This is the only place I can get them from that's within driving distance, and it saves me waiting for an order from Farnell's or RS. So, and I've just bought that. I bought 2 of those today. It's nice to have a spare as well. The cap just unscrews and you just solder the wires on. And again, as I mentioned before, or may not have mentioned it, but you need to put a capacitor in there. There was one in the speaker mic already, so that's not a difficult one to sort out. So I'm going to get that built, and I'm going to get that tested and see how it behaves. And I will be back shortly. Hello again. Right. Took me a while, but I managed to get it to work. Unfortunately, the S4 was proving unreliable in service. What we had was a lot of noise generated by the phone itself, so I couldn't use it. It wasn't giving me a clean transmission. So, what we've got on the screen on the computer at the moment is what the tablet has sent, because I've connected it to the tablet instead, and that seems to be proving much more reliable. So, the tablet's proving more reliable in service. The only drawback I've discovered is APRSDroid does not receive anything back unless it's using TCP, which is very annoying. So I can't really do that, but although you could just use TCP and without radio, although I wanted to see if it was possible to actually do it with a radio, because I've seen it done. There's the radio itself. Desk's a bit cluttered. There's the tablet with the radio plugged into it. What I've done is I've not finished this just yet. A bit of heat shrink needs to be put on there. There is a capacitor in there somewhere. Yeah, you should be able to see that. And there is all the wires connected up. Only one channel is connected up at the phone, or in this case the tablet end. So now I know it works. I'll have to see how well it works. And unfortunately, to see how well it works, I have to take it out, and I'll need to monitor the actual signal from the thing to make sure it's not transmitting dead carriers on the APRS frequency, because it did try and do that, much to my annoyance. And that's probably something to do with the fact I've had to use the Vox on the radio. I can't key it up any other way at the minute. I am planning on getting a TNC, which will remedy that situation. Because I was thinking maybe put this Baofeng to use for APRS, and get another Baofeng, which I certainly intend to do, for voice communications. Although I do have another Chinese handheld, a Wilson KG-UVD-1P, which I paid a little bit more for, and I certainly don't want to be plugging that into a tablet and risking damage to it. Although I'm probably risking the same amount of damage to the tablet as well. The the handy's off at the minute because I've just got some heat shrinking I need to finish off, and then I'm going to take down to the car and see what we get from there. I'll probably take the Wuxen with me as well. Right, because I need to monitor the frequency to make sure it's behaving itself. Right, I'll see how we get on. Right, down in the car now. I've got the accessory setting on so I can run the rig. Let's clear that menu off a minute. I'm supposed to clear that off. So, see his APRS traffic there. None of it will be me. Well, my beacon's off at the minute on both. Guess I'm not the only one to pick them letters. Although back, yeah, never mind. Anyway, we'll turn you down just for the time being. I don't want the repeater up. Right, gonna be right back while I get everything set up. Right. Now I've had a little bit of a fiddle, but I have discovered there is a bit of a delay before the Vox closes, so this isn't exactly the most useful thing in the world, but it does work, or it's supposed to work. At the moment, neither radio is on the correct frequency, but that's all about to change. Currently on other frequencies, and so I was testing them into, well, not into the antennas obviously. Well, I've got a couple of dummy loads. Only one of them's fit for working on this band, but right. So I need to press A, which will then put the radio into the correct place. That should, the radio's should be receiving the packets. Now it's not receiving anything now. There we go. There's another one. So what I should be able to do, there you go. That's all there was to it. And that actually successfully sent out a packet. I'm not sure if it got to the APRS, but via MB7 USD, because we're in the car at the minute. But that doesn't matter. That just proves it's working. All I haven't said that it was only the potential was just picked up by this. So what I can do is, if I come out of there, can't remember how I do this. I think I do this S list. Right, this is all the stations this is picked up today. So this is well, it should be the last 300, and it's still picking them up now. So M6RSQ-7 is that one I've just sent. So I know it's working. So all sorts of other stations here. Oops. I think that's the end of my handy. Don't matter. A lot of things it's actually received over the time I've actually had it. Bearing in mind, I don't actually have dates for on any of this. It'll only receive 100, and it'll overwrite as soon as it starts getting more. So, as far as I'm aware, yeah. So APRS with a tablet and a handy. It was originally going to be a phone and a handy, but then it ended up being a tablet. Well, the only thing I don't know is whether that second beacon that I sent out showed up on APRS.FI. Well, there's only one way to find that out. First of all, I need to check that the radio is off. That'd be the Baofeng. We're definitely off, so the battery's just fallen off. So Let's disconnect that. Then what do I need to do? Bear with me. Need to close APRS if I need to close the APRSDroid thing. No, APRS. Right. I think the best way to do that is terminate the Android application in the background. And if I type in here, right, so that will bring up. You are offline. That's my fault. Don't put the mobile data on. This is the same tablet I was using, by the way. You probably see my awful reflection in that. I'm not 100% sure though. Right. Okay, it should be connected to the 4G. Got a weak wireless signal, which might be to my wireless upstairs in the house, so I'm just going to turn it off for the time being. Okay. Right, so that's for M6RSQ9, which is this machine, and it did send a packet out just before. So the last packet should be at 18:28, which is a quarter of an hour ago. We're interested in this station, M6RSQ7. If it will. It just depends on if the 4G is working or not. It's on. So it should be working. Whoops. Yeah, not sure what's going on. There we go. M6RSQ7. Last position was 4 minutes 17 seconds ago. So it actually got to MB7 USD in order to get into here. So if I pull that down, it should be, there you go. Stations which heard M6RSQ7 directly on radio, MB7 USD. So it works. And I'm actually very impressed by that. So it means I could potentially use APRS on my handy with this, although it will run the battery down of both devices. So that's brilliant, really. I'm very, very pleased by that. The real test will come when I take it up onto the top of the hills. Time's getting on and I've got stuff to do tonight, unfortunately. That's probably something that I'll probably have to wait. But I'm happy because it worked. Something I built actually worked, considering the fact that most of the things I build sometimes work. Yep. So it worked on here. I can even bring it back up on here because it should still be listed. Quite some way down, but it should still be there, despite the fact that this thing is beeping away. There it is. All I have to do is tap on it, and there it is. Basically says 0 miles. So that's exactly what it should be doing. And if you've got one of these radios, that's what will appear. But this is just a test at the minute. This wasn't actually something I planned to do until I can get a Bluetooth TNC that can run off a battery. The reason why I want to do this is because I've got APRS on the car rig. I might as well have it on the handy as well. It does mean having to carry 2 handies around, but that's okay. I don't mind doing that. But I put no frequency in there, so there's nothing to QSY to. But as long as my call sign is showing up on there, we'll know it's from me. But I'm very, very impressed. I'm going to change it over to a better arrangement. Because although that arrangement works, it's not brilliant because it has to use the Vox. And the Vox may not kill the transmitter that quickly. Which is quite a pain. This is going to keep beeping at me, but that's okay. Right, that's put me back to here. Let me just press S list again, make sure it's put it back to the top. It has. Right. Yeah, I was going to, well, on a side note, the FTM 400, which is a very nice radio. I wouldn't exactly change this for the world. I was going to review it, but unfortunately things didn't go according to plan the day after I picked it up. And well, the day I picked it up, a young licensed amateur from America, unfortunately, he holds a grudge against me and decided that day, because I happened to be picking this radio up in the town I was in, he would attack me. So you can read about that on my radio blog if you like. I've filed several reports against him to the FCC, and that's all I can do. But that's just a side note. But it's not put me off at amateur radio, which is why I'm still here today, and I still have this lovely radio, and I still was playing around with all this gear here. Don't mind my cart's a little bit messy, but that's just typical of me. My car's always messy, but it's not as messy as it could be. It's just a case of clearing out some of this rubbish. Tell I've been around a bit. Some coffee cups everywhere. Right. That's probably about it, really. If you are interested in whereabouts I might be, this radio is M6RSQ-9. The tablet was 7 because it's connected to the Baofeng, and so on and so forth. So, and this is my lovely little car that we sat in. A little pride and joy, this. I can play radio in here and just talk to people wherever I go. And I'll probably be able to do that on my way down to the New York Ham Fest at the end of the month, because I'm certainly going there again this year. Because that was a lovely day last year. We get to use the APRS and hopefully System Fusion, which I will probably discuss another time. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent here. So, the tablet, one tablet, one Baofeng UV-5R, derivative of. The battery's fallen off it, I don't know where it's gone. And a bit of wiring from an old speaker mic that was not really fit for purpose because the audio was useless. And you get yourself a transmitting only, because it doesn't seem to receive according to the developers of APRSDroid. You need a Bluetooth TNC to do that. But that's my next stop. Let's see if I can get one of those. Ooh. And I'm looking forward to that. Well, while we're on the APRS subject, whenever one of these pops up, it'll tell you about it. This is object here, GB7SF, 2-meter voice repeater, which I'm guessing System Fusion, possibly because of the call sign. Tells you how far things away. This one, M6FXO, 26 miles away, and gives you a rough idea of direction. And there's a little bit of text there. Every time something comes through, that will go all the way across. If it beeps once, it's already picked up something from that station, like so. If it if it does the ding dong noise when that comes up, it means it's a new one. That's not new. Oops. And oh, yeah, there's a lot of not new ones coming through. So that one's new, MB7 UWP. I haven't actually seen that one before. It says it's 66.3 miles away. It tells you a bit about it. It doesn't say what it is, but you know. And it only knows the distance because of the GPS in the back of the radio. There's a little GPS antenna in the back. Yep, so it basically gives you a bit of information. If it can't give you the distance, then that's fine. But sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. So, yeah, that's just the same one as before. It hasn't cleared it. There we go. So, this is basically APRS. So you can either look at it on here, or you can look at things like that on the map. The map is on APRS.fi or another similar sort of service. And, well, if you want, right, so cut myself off. If you want, pop M6RSQ-9 into APRS.fi. It will tell you roughly whereabouts I am, depending on if I'm in range of a digipeater, because at the moment with a foundation license I'm limited to 10 watts. So, and if no digipeaters and eye gates are close enough, then obviously what's going to happen is I'm not going to make the trip, because this radio is set to 5 watts. The next power level up's 20 watts, and I'm not allowed to do that just yet. I'm working on that. I am working on my intermediate. So at the time of filming this, hopefully one day I'll have that 2E0. It's there, it's set in my sights. I'll get it, and I can probably get better results for the APRS, because it'll probably hit better. Right, I've got to go out for my tea, as it turns out. So that's me off out. That's the air conditioner. That's not actually on, but it's still a bit cold from before. Yep, so yeah, you might notice the radio's got 14.1 volts because the alternator's running. Right, I'm off out to pick up something for dinner. And right, the M6 RSQ signing 7-3.